Hey everyone, I'm Patrick Brown. Welcome to the new monthly project. This is a very cool theme this month. We're doing a collab challenge. The art community over on my Patreon had to pair off, find themselves a partner, and work on a project for the month so they can create anything. Complete freedom. So the idea of this is to work together, see how you can communicate, organize who is going to take on what part of the project. And the coolest part about a collab is you can do bigger pieces because it's not all on you. For instance, one artist might be really good at inking and doing the details, whereas the other one might be really good at drawing. So the idea is to take advantage of those strengths and use them in a team effort and really create something that's awesome. And on the topic of collabs, I've also been doing a collab with Alex Tripp on my through my Patreon, making tutorials out of them, and we are working together on a Ninja Turtles piece, and that's been super fun. So it goes really well with this monthly project. I want to see how everyone else is kind of going with it all, and I just thought it'd be a fun challenge. So let's check out these submissions. I really want to see what everyone's come up with together as a team. Each month I pick 3 submissions to critique. I'm going to give some feedback to these collabs. Craig and Paul, Cyril and Paul, and Renee and Andrew. Awesome work, I'll dive into those shortly. Alright, let's have a look at our first collab. This is with Paul Cameron and Cy teaming up. We've got Wolverine and Gambit from the new Deadpool 3. This is what they call Wolverine, Henry Cavill. He had a really great appearance in that movie. And Channing Tatum's Gambit, that was so cool in the movie. This art, incredible. I really love what you guys have done here. So a bit of teamwork here. This is the line work from Paul, and then Cy did the colors underneath. So that's really good teamwork by both of you, you know. Paul, I really like your line work here. You got some really good contrast in the the black shading throughout there. Ink work looks really good. Some finer details in the middle, a little bit bolder on the outside. That looks nice. Yeah, great job on those expressions too. You got a really good likeness there. Well done. And Cy, you did a good job of the rendering. Colors are popping. I like the with the explosion in the back. So he's kind of shadowed and silhouetted out. The dynamic light hitting the side of their face. Yeah, looks awesome. Love that grainy texture throughout there as well, giving that cinematic kind of look to it. Just the final touch looks cool. And the powers in the card. Yeah, nice work overall. I really like this one, guys. Well done. Alright, next collab. This is epic. This is from Adrian, and he did the line work and colors by Wilson. Looks like this is from Transformers 1. Epic artwork. This is so cool. It's very impactful, you know, as soon as you see it. I love those kind of straight shots. The choice to have dead center beaming right at us. Very striking kind of pose as well. Ready for battle. You got the fist clenched. Yeah, I just think this is a great choice. And the big evil face in the back, you know, beaming over. Kind of a montage works really well. Overall, super energetic. So, yeah, really good line work from Adrian there. Nice and clean details. Especially when you get into those little details in every little machinery part. You know, Transformers aren't easy. They're very technical, you know, especially when it comes to the line work. So you did a really good job, especially of Optimus Prime's face. Love that. And Wilson, you absolutely nailed it with these colors. They're so vibrant, just absolutely popping overall. I love that. Yeah, great collaboration by you two there. That's awesome. All right, let's move on. We've got another one here from Jacob, and you did like a caricature. Actually, you mentioned this was from an artist named Rodolfo. So this was a caricature you had done, you and your wife, and then you decided to take it to full color, line work and everything. That's a cool choice. Really love that kind of collab. Really getting that sketch and just running with it. I love that. I like the way you did this yellow beam of light up the sides and then kind of complementing it with this other greenish kind of light up the side, or a blue, green, teal color. That's cool, makes them really pop out. Nice job with your ink work. I mean, even when I zoom in, super clean. I love how thin you can go and like that balance and flow through there. You've got a lot of energy into your inks, so it's really nice to see that. Having fun with that brush there. Great idea, grabbing that caricature and running with it. Yeah, awesome. All right, let's get straight into the critiques now. I want to give you some feedback where I can, and let's start with Paul Cameron, Craig Stewart. You guys did a really cool collab here. I love this, of Arnold, Conan, the Barbarian. Arnold in his prime. This is cool. Paul, as usual, great work on your lines. Really, really love the way this turned out. You know, like I said before, the way you can go nice and bold, really holding the character together, almost framing around the outside, and then on the inside you go nice and thin. That's a pro way of doing it. Really, really good there. But you're still keeping it nice and thick where it does need to be. So the eyes, really bold. You know, framing those eyes, the lips are a little bolder, under the nostrils. So just where it needs it, you know, and the darker shadows under the hair. So that's the smart choice. Same with the muscles. You see here, dark divots in the muscles really bring the anatomy out there. And then you can go thinner where you need. You really know what you're doing. So yeah, love that. Craig's coloring as well. So I think this is fantastic. These colors, absolutely perfect. You zoom out, it looks like a photo, like it's realistic, but you've also got a graphic novel artist vibe going on there. Like it looks like it belongs in a book or something rather. Like really beautifully done. So personally, I probably would have kept some of Paul's line work a little darker just through these bits. I'm just layering over Paul's inks. So the way that I've got those layered over now. So I'll just show you a quick before and after. So yeah, before and after, just so you can see what I mean in this area here. So yeah, I think that it just needed some of that strong line work to show, even through the chest here especially, and things like that. So really make use of that up through the neck as well. Yeah, even around the lips, you could bring a lot of that nice detail back into the character. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about. The other, it's just a proportions thing. So I want to just size this down so we get a bit of space around it so you can see what I mean. I just feel like maybe the head's just slightly too big. Like that maybe. I'd bring it down like that. Now I think what it might need is this hand could go a bit more further out, slightly. Not slightly, but like that far. I've separated the arm too. This arm needs to go a bit more of a reach. Okay, and then I would actually leave the forearm as it is, and the rest is what I would size up. This part here just needs to be proportionally a lot bigger to just work, I think. Now that's probably hard to tell, but I'd probably actually get this whole bicep area. I know you can't really see it, but I would take that out. That needs to be much lower, like down here. And then the torso area, which I'll just liquefy, needs to kind of match the perspective that we're seeing of Arnold and his head. So I don't know if you can see that, but I've twisted the torso slightly to match the angle. I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so I've just done a bit of a draw over just of the anatomy so you can kind of get an idea of what I mean. So I've done the arm separate so you can kind of see how I would probably do the arm proportion wise, and the body. So because of the angle, you can tell by his face, you know, it's this kind of low angle looking up, which is really making the piece very heroic and very cool. So you have to match that with the entire body because it's like a low angle, looking upwards at him like this kind of thing. So you got to try and match that through the body, the torso, so that the collarbones would be like here, you know, one shoulder here, other one up that way. That's the big indicator. Is a really good way to match perspective is shoulders, especially if there's a character standing straight up on the ground, off the ground like this. So you can see the shoulders are now matching that kind of perspective. So, and the pectoral muscles are lining across the body like that, and the abs. Not that you're going to see the abs, but anyway, what I mean is basically that I think this character, you know, would have been best drawn out of the frame first, so that draw the entire body like this even. You don't have to draw the whole character with the legs and everything. Just enough to go outside of the crop, do you know what I mean, of the frame. Because that way you're going to get everything, proportions exact, spot on, and then you crop it in later to get your final artwork, and it'll work way better. I'll just do a quick comparison of the original. So that's the original, and then now you can kind of see the proportions are slightly, fitting a little better. I feel like the arm, so before this arm, just a bit too short, and his head was too large. So just overall proportions I felt like weren't matching. So now it's a little bit more relaxed. He's got that length, that reach. And if you look here at this bicep lowering, you can see what I mean about that angle. Especially if I just show you this glimpse, and you can see where I've drawn where the arm and the shoulder would belong. And you can see that this shoulder should definitely be dropping way down behind the arm there, and this bicep way lower. So there's the original, see how high that is? And his arm looks too short overall in this area. And then tilting that pectoral to angle the body. And then so anyway, and then I would layer over, that's an arm I sketched up to go over. I'll just try and brighten this a little more so you can see it a little clearer. Where the anatomy, I would have drawn it in bulk wise, big tricep area and then the hands. Anyway, I won't drag it out, but I hope that helps. Let me have a look at the original again. So anyway, that's pretty much it. The rest, I really love the way it all has come together. Let's go to the original, and like I said, colors, inks, really great. It's just a proportion thing. So, all right. Okay, Paul, Craig, hope that helps. I love your work. Did a great job. All right, our next critique is Cyril and Paul. You guys did X-Men, or X-Women, I should say. Really cool kind of pin-up style artwork here. I love this. I think it's great. You guys are a really good match. You both like pin-ups. You have a kind of a similar style in a way as well. I think this came out really well. You both organized it perfectly. Let's go through a bit of a step-by-step of your process. But you guys picked each other because you have similar style. You really like pinup. You both love J. Scott Campbell's art. That's really good inspiration there. And this one gave you guys kind of an idea, give you that spark, of a setup. You started sketching. You guys both took on 2 characters each. And right there, really good way to plan a collaboration. Just both split the artwork into 2. And the next stage was more of a concept, so you're kind of coming up with the idea of the drawing, and you guys decided to do superhero female characters, and you chose X-Men in pin-up style. Very cool idea. So Cyril drew Rogue and Storm, and Paul did Phoenix and Jubilee. And then you have your final piece. I really like how this turned out. Let's get into some feedback. I'll try and just see what I can point out for you guys that might help improve. Okay, I'm in Photoshop, just having a look now. Now, the first thing that stands out to me is they're just placed differently and a little inconsistent. So I think they need to be rearranged. That's probably the key thing here, and needs to have a bit more dimension. So, for instance, let's get Jubilee. Now, I think she could be up in the foreground a bit more. Just so it's makes more sense, and probably up a bit more. You want to have that breathable, I call it breathable, but just like room around her, room to breathe. And then I would get the next one. Now she should be probably dead center. Honestly, I think she should be right in the middle, tucked behind. Now Rogue, the one thing I wanted to talk about with Rogue here, this one, is just she looks slightly like she's gonna fall over this way. Little too much like leaning over this way, you can see, and there's not much to really support her apart from those little toes. So it's just a slight fix, but I'd basically you need to have the legs maybe this way slightly more, but I like to kind of bend them out, you know what I mean? Like say these toes could kind of curl out slightly, and then I would just arch those shins back. It's actually the knees. The knees need to go back, and that'll give her that stronger kind of look in her legs. Sorry, this might give you a better example. I just got the one leg because I have to adjust them one at a time. You can see, so that's before, and then after I just gave it more motion, a bit of more of a dynamic stance. You could have a look, especially with J. Scott Campbell's stuff. He really does this when you have your legs really straightened out and pushed out, and they kind of arc a little bit that way. So I'll just press OK, and I'll tuck that leg behind hers. So there's a before, and then after, you just see those kind of adjustments there. So, and also last thing I'll just point out is just the little bit of the butt cheek, where is it? Here, could go away because it's just the angle doesn't work right for it to show up that high. Anyway, so now with that stance, she looks a little bit more stable, like she won't fall over so much. Anyway, I just wanted to fix that. Let's rearrange. So I did have some references here that I found of J. Scott Campbell's mostly. I don't think this one is, unless he changed his style slightly for this. No, it's not. Oh, it does say Campbell down there. Anyway, that's 1999. Wow. Anyway, I just wanted to look at placement of girls together, like especially when they're in multiple. There's a few of them, and you see how they're nicely evened out, and it's just a nice composition and better balance. Like, it's nice to have them all evenly placed out. Now this one here I was looking at of the girl at the front, she's a lot bigger. She can be more in the foreground, and then as they go back, they kind of size down slightly. So yeah, in the original, Storm's over here too far by herself. So let's pull her back over here somewhere. I just changed up Storm's pose slightly. Let me know what you think about this, but there was something that was kind of slightly bugging me about just her pose. And I think it's the fact that her butt's kind of pushing, like poking out. And I know it's supposed to be a pin-up, but I think the way it's done is slightly different. It's mostly like, I feel like we could go even more sexy in the way of like, if you have more of a pose like this, and it's like now I kind of feel like you're getting the motion more, that she's pulling them up more. Here it's kind of like deliberately poking the bum out too much. This is more natural, and you still get that pin-up style kind of to her as well. I don't know, I feel like that might work a little better, so I might just run with that as well. I wasn't sure how that was going to play out, but I feel like that worked. So yeah, really straighten them out. I think it just gives a more confident, kind of sexier kind of pose. So anyway, let's move on. So Storm, I feel like could go even further back, and you can see now the placement is already starting to feel a lot better. The balance is really nice with this title, and their heads kind of align with that height, the height of that, so it just works nicely. I'm just going to borrow this part of J. Scott Campbell's background really quickly, because I just feel like as well, the background that you have is just, I'm not really a fan of just the plain white, to be honest. But I like the idea of having something there, whether it's like this maybe. I like that. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. It could be like Xavier's work thing, his bunker. What if you did have something like this that's very similar in the way of setup to what I just placed in of J. Scott Campbell's, but can you imagine? And I know it's super subtle. I might even, where's the sketch? I should hide that too. Yeah, so keep the sketch out of it now. But like a bit of a glow behind them just to help it pop off. But I think that's like a slightly better setup. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to do was just get Jubilee's skin is a little desaturated. So I'm going to just change the saturate brush, like basically just saturate her face. I just feel like her skin tone is very desaturated. So have a look at her skin, and then now, so I just kind of lightened it up a bit more, made it more saturated. But anyway, there we go. I'm going to leave it there. Now they all feel like they match a little more. I like the placement, backdrop. Anyway, so here's before I started, and then now you can see the placement is all right now. I think that's a bit better. But yeah, I like that a lot better now in the way of setup. She's got more dimension. She's kind of sitting towards us more on the ground. And you know what? I just tried something absolutely crazy. I went a little bolder. Have a look at this. So I went even more crazy. So packing them together, I think that works way more. So this time I wasn't afraid to crop off her leg. So I got Jubilee quite large, put the shoes there. She's now tucked closer behind her. You get a really good visual of her clearly, her body. And I like this way better. So the now Rogue is right behind her. Looks like she's brushing her hair. And then Storm has a cool pose. And I also placed their heads over the title, which really adds that dimension in, I think. So anyway, I like that way better. So let's have a look at the original. So the original is this. And then now, a lot different. So anyway, I hope those tips help. Let's do a comparison with the second version that was done. The first one, sorry. Like that. Or there's that. Anyway, Anyway, it's all an arrangement thing. I hope that helps. Paul and Cyril, you guys did an awesome job of this. Well done. I really love it. Where's the original? There we go. Awesome stuff. All right, time for the last critique. This one's from Renee and Andrew. You guys did a really awesome job of this. So you broke it up into 2 parts here. So Renee, you did all the drawing and the inks, the details, and Andrew did the colors. You did all of this, all the rendering, the final piece, all put together. Good teamwork on this one. Love it. Okay, so first of all, I think that this is great. All these inks, everything like that. Colors are really good too. You've got a good mood and a good vibe going on. But I feel like we're losing a lot of... It's just overall kind of flat. Do you know what I mean? So there's just doesn't have that pop, and I think we can fix that. So straight away, I've just layered over Renee's line work over the top, and it's pure black inks. Now, when I did that, it fixed a lot of issues down in this city. So this is before with just the rendering alone. Now, a lot of it's just getting lost. We're losing all this nice line work. I would honestly just keep all the black, the pure black inks in, just like this. And then what you could do, these windows honestly need a bit of pop. They could be pure, like you want that contrast in colors basically. You don't have to have every window lit up. It's cool to make them inconsistent. And I'm just using a layer here with a layer mode set to screen. And I've got like a light yellowy, really pale yellow, not too saturated. I find if you go too saturated, it can look a bit cheap. Look, it just doesn't work. You have to pick the right tone. You see this? So if I went like colored like this, I just think it comes across a little bit too nasty. Like, yeah, I don't know. I like the lighter version of it, to be honest. And that's just the one thing that I first noticed about this piece was the city just didn't seem alive as much. And it just needs a little bit of work here and there to bring that to life. You could also add a little bit of fog or mist, you know, smoke coming out of sewer pipes and neon lights and things like that. Bit of atmosphere is all it really needs overall. And I could even set another layer over the top of the inks and everything set to, let's go to linear dodge. This time I'm going to pick a deeper, really deep colored orange and just start putting a glow over these windows just to get that atmosphere and ambience going on, you know what I mean? You could have like a red sign, big neon lights kind of thing here. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So it's already starting to come to life a little bit more. Right, another thing I want to talk about, there's a lot more I want to do up here, but for now I want to focus on the city. So it's just the contrast. We need to really amp that right up in overall in the colors. Treat it like a comic book. You want to have a lot of contrast in Batman, the city. Even that is okay. Ignore the top for now. But if you compare it to the inks alone, you see he's popping. Looks really cool. Batman looks awesome. Love how he's kind of silhouetted out. But when you put the render, so where's the original? So that's the original render. He's kind of getting lost. You know what I mean? I feel like he's just fading out a little bit. So if you just have a bit more contrast here, like have a look at the contrast now, starting to pop, you're getting those inks shining through. I think it looks a lot better. You're getting all these really nice details in the bricks coming through a lot clearer now. And the city is now looking a lot more alive as well. If I get like a smoky brush, and I'll just try and get like some kind of color, you can add like, because it is a snowy night, so you can add like atmosphere, frost, that kind of stuff throughout. All right, now here's where the fun part comes in. I really think we need to play around with the colors for sure. So overall, everything's just too much the same color, and it gives it that kind of dull look, which I know we're going for, but you want to think of it as like a cover, something really cool. It's set up like a cover. So you want to make it eye-catching. You want it to draw people in, make it pop. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do contrast in colors. So this is nothing to do with black and white and like inks and like making it pop like that. This is more about red and blue. Like you got warm colors and cold colors. You really want to use those to create contrast. So that's what we're going to try and play around with. First thing I want to do is Penguin, a little too faint. So because we're going to do colors and contrast and that kind of thing, we can bring some of his inks back, because I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. So I basically just put the inks back over him and brought some of that strength back for him. I might even go a little more because he is going to be colorized. There we go. Right, so have a look at some of these examples of Batman covers and artwork that use contrasting colors. So this Batman, for instance, he's got a lot of warm lighting on him from the city below. So even his cape is orange. And that's, the light from below. And then the sky behind him is the moon and the cold sky, all blue and desaturated. So he's popping off that. Now here's a little flipped version. So Batman himself is more blue, grays, and dull. And then you've got the big sign behind him that's yellow and beaming, and it helps him pop. This doesn't need it too much because it already has a strong silhouette with the black, and it's a bright backdrop. So he's already popping. But this one here I thought was great. Again, Batman, blue, desaturated, those cooler tones, and then behind him warmer tones to really lift him off. He pops now. That's what we're going to go for. This is the main one I'm going to probably look at. So I'm going to put that to the side, and we're going to try and do that kind of thing with yours. Let's see what we come up with. I think it'll be fun. So let's get the city, and we're going to colorize it a bit. So I'll press colorize. I'm also going to rise it up, okay, a little bit. Now don't worry, it's not going to be affected totally. This is just a variation and a version here. It's going to be more of the reds, and I'll press OK. Now I'll go color balance. At this time I'm going to press highlights. Pull the highlights can be more yellowy. So now we're starting to get the effect of this yellowy, like the lightest parts are yellow and the darkest parts are more orangey red and maybe purple even. So we'll pull the purple. Actually, the purple will be in the shadows. So you click shadows and purple and blues. So it's kind of like starting to blend and be a little more similar to the backdrop slightly. So on the highlights, I could also go green, which will really help that yellow pop. And that should do it for now. This is just, like I said, a variation. So underneath I've got the original, and over the top I've got that. So now that I've got that variation, I'm going to duplicate it again, and this time I'm going to just get the hue and just pull the hue across to maybe purples. What happens if I go really purple? Yeah, that's better. So really purple, press OK. So now I'll put a layer mask on all of these and start to play around, fade some out, bring some back, that kind of thing, so that they both blend together, see? So we'll bring in some like orange tones closer to the bottom where all the city lights would be, like this. And I think as it goes further back, it's going to go more purpley. I might just make a third version, I'll hide the layer mask, of this, and now it's going to go into the blues. So really blue and cool and desaturated like that. And I'll get the layer mask. This time I'll just fill it in completely with black so it disappears. But I'll slowly bring some of it back where I choose with the white brush, soft brush, and I can start to have it blend a little bit more into the backdrop and look more natural. Especially this, I feel like this chimney in the front can start to be brought back to the original a bit more. Alright, now I'm going to merge all those colored ones together. So that's before and after. And now I'm going to just put another layer mask, now that I've merged it, and fade back, away what I don't want. Where is it? Sorry, brush. There we go. So maybe I'll keep most of it, but I could fade back half. You could play around with what you want. You basically have free reign of this. Alright, what I should probably do first, actually, before I do that, was my next plan. So behind the city you've got this kind of, where are we, like beam of light. Well, look at your inks there. So this beam of light behind the city, I really love that, and that should be really bright and prominent to help lift this off. But yeah, in the original that's non-existent, so that nice bright kind of, it was a nice brush strokes and stuff like that in there. So we're going to try and do that again. Now I'm going to put this beam of light behind, and you can already see what I'm kind of get at here a little bit, but don't worry, it's not going to look exactly like that. And then if I get a yellow and brush up through, probably from the middle, maybe something like that, you're already getting like a whole different setting. But now I'm starting to second guess myself. I'm thinking, is this the right choice? So there are heaps of options. It doesn't end. Like, this is the more dramatic approach. Okay, I'll keep trying what I was going to try. So what I was thinking was, if I had Penguin, right, I'll duplicate it so I don't wreck it, and he would turn into, I'm going to colorize it, and he could be more of a purpley blue. So I'll press OK. It's too saturated, so we'll just desaturate that a bit like that. Now I've got a purple version of that. I'm just trying something. And that's kind of what I was thinking with the purple, but I don't know if it's working. This is like a bold move. I'm really just trying something completely crazy here. And then in the back behind him, you'd have that kind of city glow again. I don't know, something rather. And then I was thinking maybe a red. But yeah, hang on. I need to fix Penguin now. He looks really silly like that. Anyway, I just tried one option. This is so dramatically different to anything. And I don't think it works now that I've tried this out. So I'll probably cut most of that. But let's try and go back to the original plan and like go to more of a cooler color, because these reds just don't make sense now. Too much warm. I need to go cool like this. So we're abandoning this idea. I need to kind of tap back into that. Another thing I keep forgetting about is, yeah, I really need to put a bit of a light fade behind Batman. He needs to pop off the background a little bit more, because yeah, the black of the buildings are blending with the black of him. So if we just put a bit of distance between them, it'll work out really nicely, I reckon. So you can see already that's already helping push him back in space like that. You see that? So I think that's really cool. So I'm kind of struggling with what I'm going to do with Penguin in the background now. Let me try again. I'm going to keep trying to get this right. I'll skip right to it. Okay, I finally got something. Yeah, this is kind of what I ended up with. More blue tones overall. I'm trying to like not steer too far from yours. So here's before and after. So as you can see, it's all about just trying to get that contrast overall, really. I want to be able to, you can now see Batman a lot clearer, and the city's even standing out a lot better as well. All the inks are showing nice and bright. Penguin's popping now, and he's like, I own this city. Like he's got those neon lights bouncing off him, a bit more ambient, and that beam behind the city of the winter night kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to try and like point those things out, let the inks really work, and then yeah, more alive in the city. But I love what you guys have done. By the way, this version here I think it works nicely. I like the way that personally, I like the way it's gloomy, like Gotham, and it just has that vibe about it. Has a whole different vibe. But overall, I mean, like for a cover, like if you want something to pop, I just feel like this might work a bit better. Have something with a bit more oomph, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like screaming at you now, like Batman, Penguin, you know. That's kind of what I wanted to do. It's getting a little faded and lost in this old one. But right, okay. That's all. I'll leave it there. I won't drag it out anymore. Hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it, you guys. I really love what you've done here. So yeah, well done. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I won't drag this out too long. But I really enjoyed this whole monthly project. Seeing everyone like, you know, work together and that experience, you know, as an artist, you know, to kind of work as a team. So yeah, you all did really well. I love all these pieces. They're so good. And yeah, it came out well. So yeah, if you're new to the monthly projects and you want to join in, feel free. You can head over to patreon.com/Patrick Brown and jump on board. I do, yeah, new challenges every month. And we also have art competitions and there's lots more. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.